there, my name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. My friends, let's talk about Dumble cleans, because I've been getting a lot of questions. HW, how does the new ODS 183 pack, which I was just playing there, how does that compare to the SSS pack you did not long ago? And we've done some other Dumble stuff, but for this video I'm just going to leave between these two because they're pretty different amps, but I just want to kind of answer that question, how they compare. So what I was just playing there was the ODS 183 NRB3. So what that means is normal input, rock as opposed to jazz, bright, and then we're on the third profile. I'm playing this 1966. This is 66, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head. 66 or 7. I think it's 66. It's got no doubt, I believe, patent number pickups in here. It's just a beautiful guitar. It's brighter than some of my other 335s from similar years. And I don't know if that's the wood or the pickup specifically, but it's on the brighter side. But I really love the neck of this guitar for these types of tones. It's got a big speed wiggle stick and stuff, but it's a beautiful vintage 335. It's really, really lovely. And it's a great guitar for this bluesy sort of thing. It's a great guitar to help us answer this question. Now you might be thinking, HW, that wasn't the cleanest sound I've heard. I thought you were going to talk about Dumble cleans. Well, we'll pick up another guitar in a moment, and you'll hear that this sound gets much cleaner, but we're a little mid-rangey and full here. Now that was the ODS 183. Now I'm going to try something very similar on the old string singer. Now here I've got NBR 3. And you might be thinking, hey, wasn't the other one NRB 3? Yes. Now, the reason we switched the letters was only that I completely forgot what I had done prior to this, and I just did it differently. But same thing, normal, bright, rock setting. So we should get a similar amount of gain, but let's go back. Are we getting the same amount of gain? Because that's important. So NRB3 has the Kemper registering the gain at 3.6. But NRB3 on the steel string singer only has gain of about 2.9. Now that's the first thing I want to point out. We think of Dumbles a lot of times as, look, Dumble is a manufacturer, right? It's a company, it's a guy that made amps. And he didn't make one model of amp. So the first thing I want to point out is, most of the time when people talk about Dumbles, they're usually referencing the ODS, which is like this ODS 183. The string singer, which you can go back and watch channels on the videos on the channel about it, that amp was inspired by Stevie Ray Vaughan. He had a big, clean sound. He was using Fenders turned all the way up. I don't know what speakers. He could have been using 15-inch speakers at that time, you know, when Dumble saw him and was inspired to make the steel string singer amp. But the ODS was inspired by Robben Ford and watching him play. And he's doing a different thing. Now, I don't know what music Robben was playing early at the time, because Robben's done so much music through time, more jazzy, more rock, more blues, more fusion. He's done a lot of music. But the amps are not even trying to be the same thing. They don't even come from the same thing. The ODS is really, it seems like maybe from the power amp section that Dumble sort of started with the power amp of a bassman, and then built the amp in front of that, knowing he was going to use that power section, where the steel string singer actually has some things in common with a bass amp. So, and that's because it has such extended low end and high end. He may have pulled some design elements from a bass amp to start, but these are original designs he made, so they're really not like it. They're like itself. So steel string singer pack, you're going to notice, the string singer pack, you're going to notice just cleaner. So I'm going to play it same thing, but with this third profile. Now the difference in that tone there for me is the steel string Singer sounds like a 10,000 pound Fender. You immediately hear the more scooped black face-like quality, but it's got this more thunderous low. It's got more lows in there. You know, depending on what you're listening to, you can sort of hear that. It's got the capability to go real low, and that low end is rich and tight. But the upper end, you just get more of this. That brilliant switch, that bright switch is just nice and exact. It's to me, it's much more Fendery. So I put this in like, he's listening to Stevie, and Stevie's playing vibroverbs or twins or supers or whatever he was playing earlier in his career, and Dumble goes, oh my gosh, I get what this guy's doing, you know? Oh, it's so thick and big on the bottom end and clean. And that's why Stevie's tone is almost clean, but saturated. It's clean, dirty. It's dirty, clean, but it's not broken up. It's like somehow, all those Stevie records sound like the loudest, biggest, heaviest clean amp you've ever heard. But now you've heard that, let me jump back here and let's go back to NRB4, and you're gonna hear, obviously, more gain. We're gonna correct that in a second, but you're gonna hear an amp that's less scooped blackfacey, but still American. That sound is focused, pushed, it's juicier. Now, you might be noticing that, hey, HW, that's more gain than really we're using on some of these other ones. And you know what? I was on NBR4, so you got a little more gain there than really I was supposed to give you. The 3 sounds like that. It still sounds really good. You hear that extra focus, that extra thing. Now, if I go back, let's go to the similar amount of gain, but now I'm going to go up the gain on the String Singer a little bit. String Singer NBR4, and now this is going to be more like that number 3 sound. Listen, it's full on the bottom. It feels like a bigger amp. It feels a little more, this is really getting to the top of the gain range, where that other amp I was playing you was almost in the middle or lower on the gain range. So we've really got an amp designed to break up and a big full amp that's designed to do something different. Now, let me show you these same 2 sounds on a more Fendery guitar, and we can hear how both of these will clean up a bit. That is a Fender. This is a Fender right here. This is my custom shop Goldie Strat. If you watch the channel, you know. And since I always get all these questions, these are Fender Custom Shop Dual Mag pickups. I think the whole set is like $400. They were in this guitar already, so I don't really know what they cost, but I think they're like $400. For a set of pickups, it's a little bit much, you know, maybe, but they're really good pickups. Mike Eldridge designed before he left Fender. That's the String Singer NBR4. It's beautiful. It's all that kind of, you know, Mayer-esque, Stevie kind of, you know, string singer type vibe. Now, we bring that back and we go back to the ODR 183. And again, we end up at this type of thing. It depends on what you're playing. What's better? You know what I mean? What are you after? I don't know. You know, you bring up that gain just a little bit more and you got this thing too. It's just something, man. I mean, it's a different thing than the steel string singer, you know, which gives you just something completely, you know, just way different. You know, you're almost like the... You get it. That whole Mayer-esque big thing is really, to me, the string singer sound until it gets overdriven. And, you know, for that thing, I prefer the string singer. However, for just all-out rock, blues overall, I mean, the ODS 183 profile pack just has more in it. Now, I should note a couple things. I don't mean to treat these as, you know, being the quintessential examples. In this demo here, I have taken profiles from each pack that have used the G1265 speaker. And it's using the same speakers. So we're going to have even more similarities, but you can still hear how different they sound. I don't quite remember what I did with microphones. I'd have to look in the rig tags, but those could be different as well. Pre's could be different as well. But overall, we're getting the same speaker cab, two different heads. In this example, in the string singer pack, there's EVs, which are like what John uses for his, that are going to give you even more that'll give you a little more open sounding and, in my opinion, a little more unforgiving. Can be a little harsher on the top end, but really beautiful if the sound is very clean and dialed in correctly. And then there's also an Alnico Big 15, which is a little more a la Stevie Ray because he used those big 15-inch speakers. This is an Altec Alnico. It has really nothing to do with Stevie in that way. But these profiles also differ in the sense that the ODR 183 is a very specific Dumble. It's a clone of Dumble number 183, which is a transitional model that goes between sort of the Skyliner low plate era going into the HRM when Dumble was making some pretty significant changes that really did change the sound of the amps, and those HRMs, they later give you a much more mid-rangey, honk, and saturated, focused lead sound. In this example, the ODR 183 pack, it's still a bit like the clean channel, but more gain, but you are getting more mid-range as well. So it's really a transitional thing. Plus, the ODS 183 profile pack is profiling an amp that actually had EL34s in it, not the traditional 6L6. That you would usually find in an overdrive special type amplifier because that's usually what's in a basement. So really some big differences. That's what makes the 183 really a unique one. I saw John Cordy write in, I wish my Overtone Special sounded like this. And it's because it is a unique kind of circuit. So just know that. But how do these packs, go with each other? That's how they go. You want a little, in general, you want to go for ODS sound. It's a little more mid-rangey, it's a little more juicy, and it's a little more mid-range. It's that Dumble sound, and it's got a lot more gain. When you're talking about string singer, we're going to carve out those mids. It's going to be like a 10,000 pound Fender. That's how I would put it. It's Robin Ford or Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, or it's John Mayer, Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's 10,000 pound Fender versus focused overdrive. That's how these two packs compare to each other. That's the sound. What's the Dumble sound? Depends on what you're talking about. Then, don't even get me started on the ultraphonic stuff. It ain't nothing like the other things. The best way I could put that, it's the donor amp taken to the stars. So do what you will with that. Hey, I hope this is helpful. I've been HW. Thanks so much. Both these profile packs are available. Tone Junkie TV, ToneJunkieStore.com, blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much for watching Tone Junkie TV. Like, subscribe if you get anything out of these videos. HW, out.